So I really thank you from the bottom of my heart, and as does Bob Singer, Kim Manners, Jared Jensen, everyone who works on the show, because it's our passion and we love doing it. So thank you for watching it. All right, so questions. Let's just start with questions. We'll start here.
Kicking things off. Two-part question.
Sure.
You and your team are so great at representing the good and the evil of both sides, and Malleus Maleficarum did not portray witches in the best light. I believe the word whore was used. I'm just wondering, do you intend to go back and portray witches in a good light?
Well, I mean, my honest answer is probably not. Okay. But I will say, and we were careful to write this in the dialogue. Sam says it's not. These are not, New Age Wiccan, which was a little glib of a line and not 100% respectful, but still, he said they're not, a respectful, positive interpretation of witches. They're these old school, very elemental, very bad witch that we're looking after. And the reality of the show is because it's just a horror show, it's like we always show everybody at their worst, because it wouldn't be... we're just always looking for where the biggest, nastiest scare is. And so, when we decided to tackle witches, we felt that we needed to tackle the dark side of witches, although I know that there's a very positive and light side of them. So that was why. I mean, almost no one gets off easy on Supernatural. So that was one of them. But okay.
And if you could cross over Supernatural with any other television show, what would it be?
I don't know, but I will say, and there's a comic book I would cross it over. I would cross it over with Hellblazer, with John Constantine, which they made that Keanu Reeves movie, which was okay. It was pretty good. It was okay, but John Constantine's English and really badass, and hunts after demons and is into the occult. And I've been trying to, because DC, it's a DC property, it's a Vertigo property, and I've been trying to. I've been begging Warner Brothers to actually let us use the character and bring him into the show, and they've said, "Oh, great, absolutely not. Are you crazy?" And forget it. So that's never happened. But that's what I would choose. I don't know if there would be a show. 2.5 Men, actually, because their offices are across. Their offices are across the hall from ours, and so we always go to work and we're like, "How are we going to eviscerate that baby?" Hi, 2.5 Men, and we walk to work. So that'd be great. I would love something to kill the half of a man. So, thank you. Hi.
After you introduced Lilith in the last episode that aired, a debate is broken out online, of course, over whether she's based more on biblical myth or Mesopotamic myth, and or is it a mix, or is it none of that and just liked the name? And then I have another question when you're done.
Okay. And again, it just reinforces what I like. We have the smartest fans in the world, super smart fans all around. We really do. She's going to be a combination of all myths concerning Lilith. We have done our homework. It isn't just because we like the name. There's the biblical legend, but if digging into the biblical legend, they chose that name and that character because it's an older myth. And so like we do in everything in Supernatural, everything's sort of pan myth. It's sort of everywhere.
They said that, I think another interview, you had said that you were never going to tackle angels or the existence of God or anything like that. So how's that work?
How's it all work? Well, what I said was that we weren't going to see necessarily positive, glowy, ethereal versions of Supernatural because one, that's not necessarily scary, and two, that's sort of not, we're not like none of the like touched by an angel kind of stuff. But like down and dirty versions of this, down and dirty versions of maybe different factions are a possibility. And I've also learned to, as I've sort of grown and matured even doing the show myself, I've sort of learned to never say never as long as you find like the really cool, badass way to do something. But in terms of like, is she Adam's first wife? And, and there's actually debate about that. there's like debate about whether she really was and how that story actually came to be, and that's actually a debatable story. But in terms of her having her two, her two primary roles seems to be like, destroyer of children and seducer of men. Those two kind of facets of her personality. We plan on exploring both. I mean, for now, it's sort of destroyer of children because she's, 10 years old.